Imagine one day you zoom in on Google Maps and see a small island with no information about it, or a large top-secret building that if you get close to, you might not even return alive. You might think that in the modern world, nothing is hidden from people's eyes. But it's interesting to know that there are still places where entry is impossible. Places where behind closed doors lie dangerous secrets, strange experiments, or even lost civilizations. Do they really experiment on aliens at America's Area 51? And why does a tribe on a remote island kill anyone who approaches? And how does a secret room in North Korea launder billions of dollars? If you dare, watch this video to the end because I want to show you 15 of the scariest and most mysterious forbidden places in the world. But hold on, before I start the video, I'd like you to give us some energy by liking the video and leaving a comment. Also, I want you to turn on the channel notifications because you're about to watch a strange and exciting video. Most places in the world can be visited either for free or by paying a fee. But there are some places where entry is almost impossible for the public. We're going to take a look at the most secretive places and locations where entry is completely illegal. The first one, which has become quite famous, is North Sentinel Island in the Indian Ocean. It's a small island called North Sentinel, home to one of the last primitive and original tribes in the world. A group of people who have lived for thousands of years without any contact with the outside world. Now, what's the strange point? They kill anyone who gets close to them. In 2006, 2 fishermen who accidentally entered the island were killed by the tribe. In 2018, an American missionary named John Allen Chow, who wanted to introduce Christianity to them, was killed with poisoned arrows just minutes after his arrival. Therefore, the Indian government officially declared that no one is allowed to approach this island, and even the military should not interfere with this tribe. But the question is why? Is this tribe hiding something? If so, what is it? Number 2 on our list is America's Area 51, a place where the US government doesn't want you to know what's happening inside. If you love conspiracy theories, this segment is for you. Area 51 is a top-secret military zone in the state of Nevada that has been surrounded by strange rumors for years. Many believe that this is the site for testing flying saucers and extraterrestrial beings. The Roswell incident in 1947, which we previously made a video about, and I highly recommend you watch, strengthened these hypotheses even further. At that time, an unidentified object crashed in New Mexico, and the US government immediately collected its remains and took them to Area 51. But they never disclosed what that object really was. The interesting and amusing point is that in 2019, millions of people on the internet started a movement called Let's Storm Area 51. They wanted to somehow enter the base and see if they really keep aliens there or not. But the US government warned that anyone who enters this area does so at their own risk. If you think all the secrets of the world are related to aliens and lost tribes, hold on. In the heart of Pyongyang, the capital and largest city of North Korea, there is a secret office called Room 39. This place belongs to a special group within the North Korean government that has only one task: to bring in money for the Kim family. Now, how does this money come in? Obviously through drug trafficking, bank fraud, and counterfeiting US dollars, illegal arms deals, and front companies in other countries. This room generates billions of dollars annually. Interestingly, no one knows exactly where this room is or who works in it, but it is said to be located in one of the North Korean Communist Party buildings. and only the people closest to the country's leader are allowed entry. Although there is no official documentation about this room, many North Korean defectors have confirmed that such a place truly exists, and the money from this room is allocated to the luxurious lifestyle of the Kim family and North Korea's sensitive projects. Now that you understand even governments and unknown tribes hide strange secrets, a question arises. If these places are forbidden, what other forbidden places exist, and what things are hidden from us in these places? In the Vatican, St. Peter's Basilica attracts millions of visitors every year. But the Vatican's secret archive is a place where almost no one is allowed to enter. This archive, which is about 1,000 years old, includes scientific writings and historical documents related to all the popes in history and many important documents of the Catholic Church. For a long time, only the Pope himself had access to this archive. But in 1881, Pope Leo III, for the first time, historically significant, granted permission to researchers and scholars to use it as well. Now, this archive includes several kilometers of bookshelves, and only 60 researchers are allowed to enter each day. To gain entry, you must be a reputable researcher from a recognized university, provide them with a letter of introduction, and specify the purpose of your research. However, most documents after the year 1959 remain confidential, and access to them is not granted. Nevertheless, this archive is considered one of the most important historical resources in the world, and researchers from all over the globe compete to gain access to it. Well, we are leaving the Vatican and heading to South America, to the country of Brazil. You might not believe it, but there is an island in Brazil called Snake Island, which is home to many venomous and deadly snakes, particularly the golden lancehead viper. Of course, this island is uninhabited and is recognized as one of the most dangerous places due to the high density of venomous snakes. It's interesting to know that in the past, the density of snakes on this island was 1 snake per square meter. However, today, due to illegal hunting and environmental changes, this number has decreased, but entry to this island is absolutely prohibited, and only researchers and biologists with special permission from the Brazilian government are allowed to enter. It's fascinatingly interesting to know that even the lighthouse on this incredibly mysterious island, which was previously operated by a human, is now fully automated. However, there are, as the story goes, rumors that the last lighthouse keeper and his family were unfortunately killed by the snakes, but there are no credible documents regarding this. Another interesting point is that it is worth noting that occasionally animal smugglers have tried to sell the snakes from this island in the illegal trade on the black market because their venom is used in medicine to produce heart drugs. Well, let's come back from Brazil and head to France and the Lascaux Cave. Around the world, many prehistoric paintings are indeed found, but none are as truly unique and spectacular as the paintings in the Lascaux Caves. These caves are located near a small village called Montignac in the southwest of France, and the paintings inside them are approximately 17,000 years old. These paintings depict images of animals and people that prehistoric humans interacted with. Interestingly, these caves were discovered completely by accident. In 1940, an 18-year-old boy named Marcel had an incident while he was chasing his dog, which fell into a hole. A few days later, Marcel returned with some of his friends to see what this hole was, and when they entered, they were confronted with a world full of ancient paintings. After reporting this discovery to the authorities, the cave quickly became a tourist attraction. In 1948, it was open to the public, and thousands of people visited it. However, the problem was that by 1955, the daily entry of 200 people caused carbon dioxide, heat, humidity, and other pollutants to make the paintings vulnerable. As the air conditions inside the cave worsened, fungi and moss began to grow on the walls. Therefore, in 1963, public access was completely restricted, and only a few people per week were allowed to enter, and that too, with a permit. But even this was not enough. In the early 2000s, mold and fungi became a serious problem, ultimately leading to a complete ban on public entry. Well, Moscow must be a really cool city. In Soyuz, I haven't been there, but we don't want to talk about the world above ground in Russia. We want to go underground. In Moscow, there is a hidden underground world called Metro 2 that no one except Russian officials is allowed to enter. This metro system was built for emergencies and nuclear attacks, so that the Russian president and high-ranking officials can use it. This metro connects the Kremlin Palace, the headquarters of the Russian National Security, Vnukovo State Airport, the underground city of Ramenki, and several other important points. Interestingly, the Russian National Security Agency has neither confirmed nor denied the existence of this metro. However, documents published on the internet include a report from the US Department of Defense about the existence of this secret underground system in Moscow, and even a possible map has been released. Number 8 on our list is undoubtedly Chernobyl. This name might sound familiar to you. This city was considered to be completely uninhabitable in the region after the 1986 nuclear disaster, because radioactive materials still exist in this area, making it extremely hazardous, risky, and therefore perilous for anyone to enter the city. Even after many years, this area still does not allow anyone in. Well, let's move on to the next forbidden place, the Ise Grand Shrine. Those who believe in Shinto, the traditional and indigenous religion of Japan, know this name. This shrine is considered one of the most sacred religious sites in Shintoism in Japan. This extensive complex is dedicated to the sun goddess Amaterasu and includes several smaller shrines. But the interesting point is that entry to it is prohibited for the general public. This shrine is full of ancient secrets that no one except specific individuals has the right to access. In fact, only certain priests and members of the Japanese royal family are allowed to enter this shrine. Ordinary people can only worship from behind the shrine's walls and from a distance. Nevertheless, millions of people go there every year to visit this sacred place. Their reason, however, is not very convincing. They say it must remain completely pure and holy, and the entry of other individuals might jeopardize this purity, according to their belief, but I doubt it. Well, let's move on to number 10. The church whose name you see on the screen, the Church of Our Lady Mary, Zion. This church might not be very well known, but it holds extraordinary importance for the Orthodox Christians of the country. Orthodoxy is a branch of Christianity that considers itself committed to the original traditions and beliefs of Christianity. Now, why is this church important to them? Because it is said that the Ark of the Covenant, which is the sacred chest containing the 10 Commandments of Prophet Moses, is kept here. The Ark of the Covenant was a sacred chest that the people of Israel built in the desert according to God's direct command to Prophet Moses. According to legends, Emperor Menelik I, the first emperor of the Solomonic dynasty, brought the Ark from Jerusalem to Ethiopia. This place is guarded by a monk who has dedicated his life to prayer and worship beside this Ark. Entry to this church is only possible for Ethiopian Orthodox religious officials, and this has led some researchers to question the validity of this claim. The mysterious places of the world are endless. By the way, I forgot to tell you, if you think this content deserves a like, I would appreciate it if you did so. And be sure to leave a comment and share it with your friends. Well, as we were saying, when the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, passed away, a very impressive tomb was constructed for him. This tomb took 38 years to build and was a small-scale model of the capital of the Qin Empire, which had a diameter of about 6 kilometers. In this tomb, a terracotta army is preserved, which includes thousands of statues of soldiers, horses, servants, and even members of the emperor's family. However, when this army was discovered in 1974, it was exposed to the air, causing the original colors of the statues to quickly fade. For this reason, the Chinese government has not yet allowed the main tomb of the emperor to be opened, because they want to ensure that they can properly preserve its contents. For this reason, entry into this tomb is completely prohibited. Interestingly, this tomb contains large amounts of mercury in its soil, which was used to protect the tomb. Now imagine how dangerous this mercury can be for people. No one can easily enter this tomb because the toxic mercury present in it can be harmful to anyone. Therefore, most parts of the tomb remain untouched. It's interesting to know that the rivers and channels in the tomb are not real, but are made of mercury, meaning, instead of water, liquid mercury was poured in those areas. At that time, they believed mercury had protective properties and could preserve the emperor in his afterlife. Let's move on to number 12 on our list, the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. If you are a US government official, a member of Congress, or a senator, which I know you are not, you have probably heard of the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. This center, located in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia, is considered a secret location for relocating high-ranking military and civilian officials during national crises and terrorist attacks. The only time this center was officially used was during the September 11th attacks. But it still serves as an important base for the continuation of government in the event of the fall of Washington, D.C. Therefore, it is not surprising that ordinary people are not allowed to enter this location. You are seeing the 13th forbidden place on our list, North Brother. But let's move a little further over here. Look here. This is New York, a bustling city. But a little further over, there's a piece of land where no permanent residents live. North Broward Island was a mental hospital. 1881-1943, W02 Veterans Settlement, 1946-1951, and Rehab Center, 1952-1964. It was a veterans' home for World War II soldiers between 1946 and 1951, and a rehabilitation center for addicts between 1952 and 1964. But after that, the island was abandoned and has now become a bird sanctuary. Entry is completely prohibited during the bird breeding season, which is from March 25th to September 21. However, for the rest of the year, only researchers with special permits are allowed to enter. Number 14 on our list is here, the abandoned Churchill Bunker. An emergency shelter in Britain that was designed for World War III. It is said that only high-ranking British officials are allowed to enter this bunker. It is still kept secret, and no one knows about it. All of this indicates that governments still use such secret locations. Well, let's go here, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in northern Norway. In this vault, located on the Svalbard archipelago, about 1 million seed samples are stored. Each of these samples contains thousands of seeds that can be retrieved by their depositors, in case agricultural crops are lost for any reason, such as war, terrorist attacks, or natural disasters. It's interesting to know that the costs of this vault are fully covered by the Norwegian government, and its security is so high that only certain individuals are allowed to enter. Given the importance of security, it is entirely logical to have this restriction. This ensures all necessary precautions are taken to protect. Well, this is one of the 15 forbidden places. But wait, hold on. Let me tell you about one more. Let's go to a remote island. Where do you think we're going? We're heading into the heart of the Pacific Ocean, and the Hawaiian Islands. But no, I'm not talking about the main Hawaiian Islands. Niihau Island is one of the 8 Hawaiian Islands. This island is closed due to its unique exclusivity, because of a promise made to the King of Hawaii. Back in the year 1864, a woman named Elizabeth Sinclair purchased this island for approximately $10,000 in gold from King Kamehameha V. But the king set a condition, that the Sinclair family must protect the island and its people from outside influences. Since then, the descendants of this family, namely Keith and Bruce Robinson, have remained faithful to this promise. Entry to the island is only possible with an official invitation from the Robinson family, or if you are a permanent resident of Niihau. These rules have allowed the approximately 70 people living on the island to preserve their native language, culture, and traditions unchanged. It's interesting to know that the Robinson family has also imposed some strict restrictions, such as the prohibition of alcohol consumption, the ban on carrying weapons, and the requirement to attend church services on Sundays. Despite this, there have been no serious complaints from the island's residents. The island has no roads, plumbing system, electricity, stores, or hospitals, and people rely on natural resources and solar energy. Therefore, this island is one of the most mysterious islands where the native culture has survived. These forbidden places were so strange that I didn't want this video to end at all. But this list doesn't stop here. How many other places in the world do you think exist that we don't even know the names of? If you could travel to just one of these places, which one would you choose? By the way, write in the comments which one of these forbidden places was truly strange to you. Again, I say if we deserve it, I would appreciate it if you could like the video and also turn on the channel notifications.